My name is Wanda. I'm the director for the Women's Business Centers. I'll be the person who's going to facilitate the webinar. I'd like to take this moment to introduce about PACE. PACE is stand for Pacific Asian Consortium in Employment, found in 1976. PACE is a nonprofit community development corporation dedicated to create economic solutions that address the challenges of employment, education, housing, the environment, and the business development within the PACE Asian and other diverse community across the Los Angeles County. Since the inception, PACE has been recognized as the leader in tackling poverties and economic inequalities in low income, immigrant, and ethnic communities. Our comprehensive programs serve individuals as families in five key areas: education, employment, energy, housing, and business services. So our business development department established in 1993 and has continued to grow and strengthen over the years. I have been a privilege again serving the PACE um, organizations for 2 decades and currently leading the Women's Business Centers department. In my role, I support entrepreneurs at every stage, startup, grow, expansions. We provide one-on-one consultations for free, trainings like today, access to capital. We are CDFI certified, and we offer SBA microloan as small as 1,000, 3,000, 5,000, or as high as up to 2.5 million, depending on what you need the loan for. Thank you again for being here today. We're looking forward to help you grow your business with the power of the SEO and AI today. Please allow me to introduce Brandon, our speaker today. Brandon is the founders of the SEO Optimizers, a digital marketing company. He has been running since 2007. He specializes in helping small and medium business sizes, um, increasing their online visibilities and drive traffic that convert into client sales and leads. Beyond SEO, Brendan is a strong advocate for guest broadcasting as a powerful yet underutilized marketing tools. Having been a guest on, I believe, 300 plus podcasts, maybe more now, he has mastered the art of leveraging these appearances to build authority, improve SEO, create repurposable content for blog, social media, and email marketing, and utilizing Drive and business growth. Brandon's insight has been featured in Yahoo, Entrepreneur, Huffington Post, and other top public publications. Whether through SEO strategies or podcast marketing, his mission is to help business expand the reach and establish themselves as industry leaders in the digital marketing. Please help me put your hand together and welcome our speaker, Brandon.
Hi, thanks for the intro, Swan. Thanks everyone for coming out today. My name is Brandon Leibowitz. I will be going over today's class about how to use AI to help grow your business. And let me know if everyone can see my slides. If not, let me know, but I think they should be sharing. And yeah, a little bit about myself. My name is Brandon Leibowitz. I've been involved with digital marketing since 2007. I got my degree in business marketing, and one of the first jobs I got out of school was helping a company out with their digital marketing, which I see that you're not seeing my slides. Let me make sure that it is sharing. Hopefully, let's see. Hopefully everyone could see the slides now, not the presenter view, but the full slides. I'm not sure why. Okay,
There you go.
now should be the
Okay.
full screen, hopefully. But yeah, got my degree in business marketing, and one of the first jobs I got out of school was helping a company out with their digital marketing, which I didn't really know much about it. Back in 2007, they didn't really teach you that in school, and I told the company that, and they said, "Don't worry, we're new to this as well, and we're gonna learn with you and take you to different classes and workshops and seminars." And after doing that for a while, I just realized everyone's probably going to have a website in the future. SEO is a way to get free traffic and thought, who doesn't want free traffic? So got me working at different advertising agencies as a director of SEO, and before work, after work, and on my lunch breaks, I'd work on my own company and eventually was able to build it up to quit my job and been doing this ever since, helping people tap into that free traffic. But for today, we'll talk about AI and how to use AI to help out with some of your SEO tasks like keyword research. Or first we'll talk about what is ChatGPT. We'll also talk about Gemini, which is Google's version, and there are lots of other AIs out there. Doesn't really matter which one you use. There's so many new ones that keep coming out that it's tough to stay up to date with all of them. But the biggest ones really that everyone's probably heard of are ChatGPT, and then Google has Gemini, and we're all trying to rank on Google. So Gemini is a great one to get some insights into how Google thinks. Now I'll talk about keyword research, which is a starting point of SEO, is trying to figure out what keywords do you want to rank for, because little changes to a singular or plural or synonym into the keyword has a big difference on how many people search for that keyword every single month, which I'll talk about in a minute. Talk about content creation, how it could help write content for you. It could help with the competitor analysis, because with SEO, we're not trying to beat Google. We're trying to beat your competition and do better than they are. And AI can help us see and get some insights into what your competition is doing. Then I'll talk about how it could help with optimizing your website, making coding changes. And then we'll talk about some best practices to just make sure everything is ethical and done properly. And so for today, well, I'll start off with ChatGPT is a natural language processing tool. This was created by OpenAI, which was launched in November 30th of 2022. It's free to use. If you go to chat.openai.com, there's a paid version. It's $20 a month if you want the premium version, but you don't need to buy the paid version, although it is much, much better than the free version. And it's only $20, which is not that bad compared to some of the costs that we'll look at later on today of paying people to do this. But you could use a free version, but I would strongly recommend buying the paid version because it's just so much more powerful. And this is what ChatGPT looks like, which basically it looks like Google search for the most part, where there's a little search bar. You could search, ask questions. The only difference is you could respond back. Whereas with traditional search, you ask a question, it gives you an answer. With AI, you could respond back and keep engaging with it and talk to it, and it'll keep giving you more insights. But Gemini came around from Google. It's a natural language processing tool, and it's created by Google because ChatGPT is OpenAI. OpenAI is heavily funded by Microsoft. Microsoft owns Bing. So ChatGPT was built into Bing, and it's kind of like Bing owns ChatGPT or is heavily invested in it. Google said, wait, if Bing is going to have AI in it, everyone's going to go to Bing. We can't lose that market share. So Google released their version of AI back in March of 2023, a few months after ChatGPT was released, I think like 6 months later, because they knew if they didn't release it, everyone's going to go on to Bing and Google's going to lose out on all that market share. And Google does not want that to happen because Google really dominates the search and runs the show in terms of people go to Google. People don't really go to Bing to search. And Google wanted to keep it that way. So they made their natural language processing tool live, free to the public. It's kind of the same model of free version at gemini.google.com or a paid subscription for $20 a month. The paid version, same thing as ChatGPT. It's so much better to get the paid version, and it's only $20 a month, which is not that bad. And it looks very similar to ChatGPT, which also looks very similar to Google, where it's just a search bar. You could search, ask questions, and engage back with it. There's lots of things that AI can do, and it keeps expanding in the features. But one of the first things for SEO, though, is keyword research. Trying to figure out what keywords do you want to rank for, because because little changes to your keywords have a big impact on the search volume. Like one of my clients, their personal injury law firm, they wanted to rank for personal injury lawyer in Los Angeles, which is a good keyword, gets 20,000 searches each month in Los Angeles for personal injury lawyer, singular. Personal injury lawyers, plural, gets 200,000 searches every single month. Just by changing one letter, they could 10x their traffic potentially. A lot of people skip over keyword research, don't know what to do, or think it takes too much time, but keyword research is so very important. Anytime I get a new client, I'm always starting off with keyword research, figuring out what keywords do we want to target to make sure that we maximize the value and the reach. With AI, it could help with some of the aspects of keyword research. It could help you find new keywords. It can show you search volume because that's really what we want to know is how many people search for that keyword every single month. It could give you long tail keywords, so keywords that are two or more words. The more words in a keyword, the more buyer intent. The less words in that keyword, the less buyer intent. So anything that's one or two words is not really a good keyword because there's no buyer intent. And you want sales and leads, phone calls. You don't care about traffic. Traffic is great, but if you're getting a bunch of traffic that's not interested in your product or service, it doesn't really do much for you. So buyer intent is really important. Keyword, let's say you're selling men's tennis shoes. And you come to me and be like, Brandon, I want to rank for the word shoes. But like, shoes is good, but how many of those people want men's tennis shoes? Less than half of those people want that. You're going to get a lot of traffic that comes to your website, but a lot of people are going to leave saying, this is not what I was looking for. So, shoes, not a good keyword. Men's shoes, better. It's still not going to get you sales from everybody because if you're only selling men's tennis shoes and you rank for the word men's shoes, people might be looking for dress shoes, sandals, it could be a bunch of different things. And you're only selling men's tennis shoes. You're going to get a lot of people that come and leave immediately. If Google sees that, instead of ranking you higher, they're going to drop you down saying people aren't finding what they're looking for. So why should we rank you? So men's shoes, not a good keyword. Men's tennis shoes, much better keyword. That's what you're selling. Men's tennis shoes. People are coming to your website, searching for that keyword. Go into your website, they're going to find men's tennis shoes. Good keyword, but you could even take it one step further and you could have your keyword as men's tennis shoes, size 10, color blue. Somebody's searching for that. They know exactly what size, what style, what color. They're ready to make a purchase. Somebody's searching for men's tennis shoes. They don't know what they want. They know that they want men's tennis shoes, but they're not really sure of what specific features and details. Men's tennis shoes, size 10, color blue. It's a really long keyword. Not many people are going to be searching for it, but the people searching for it, they know exactly what they want to buy. So there's more buyer intent, and buyer intent is going to be much better than just getting a bunch of traffic. It can also help you extract keywords from content. You could have a article or a blog post and you could ask AI, what keywords is this page about? So you can make sure that when you write content on your website, that content matches the keywords that you want to rank for. You could group keywords into related topics, so it could help you build topical relevancy with your content. But it's a lot easier if I show you some of this versus just telling you. If anyone does have a keyword, if you want to throw in the chat, I'll show you how we could use AI to help out with keyword research. And let me share my screen. So I see So right now, hopefully you can see my screen. If not, let me know. And I see a bunch of keywords coming in. Todd put in mobile bar business. So we'll just start with that. So mobile bar, if mobile bar business was my keyword, I would say to ChatGPT, give me a list of keywords related to, and then we could put mobile bar business, and it's going to give us a list of keywords related to mobile bar business. And we could see mobile bar service, mobile bar rental, mobile cocktail bar, gives you like event type of keywords, rentals, drink services, local keywords, long tail keywords, very important, these long tail ones, high intent keywords, gives you a long list of keywords, which is great, but this doesn't really help out too much. What we want to see is how many people search for this keyword every single month. Put that in a table and show me competitive metrics. So now we could get the search volume because we want to know how many people search for that keyword every single month. So now it's going to tell you how many people how many people search for that keyword each month. So mobile bar gets 6,600 searches, mobile bar service gets 2,400 searches. This is what this says. But if anyone's used AI, you know it makes stuff up all the time and it does what are called AI hallucinations, and you cannot trust AI. Most of the time, I mean, all the time, if it doesn't know the answer, it'll make it up and it won't tell you that it's making it up, which is a little frustrating because I feel like it should tell you if it doesn't know the answer, but for some reason, AI won't tell you that it doesn't know the answer and it'll just make up answers all the time. And a lot of these numbers, most of them, actually all of them, are probably going to be wrong, unfortunately. So there are tools that show you the actual search volume. AI, you have to double, triple, quadruple check everything that it puts out because if you trust AI, that is the wrong way. You should not trust AI. It's going to lead you in the wrong direction a lot of times. And if you don't want to put out misinformation or get things incorrect, like there was a lawyer that when AI first came out, used it to create a deposition. And this lawyer presented it in court, and it made up all these court cases that never existed. And this lawyer got in a lot of trouble. And we don't want that to happen to you. So take everything with a grain of salt from AI. Do not trust AI. It's a good starting point, but you cannot trust it. And there's a tool called the Keyword Planner from Google. It's a free tool. And this is how I do keyword research, is using this Google Keyword Planner. And let's just check to see some of these numbers. So mobile bar service. Let's see how many people search for that when we use the Google Keyword Planner. So you have to sign into Google, create an account. It's free to use. And then when you get here, you go to tools and planning, keyword planner. And then you can click discover new keywords and you can put your keyword in here, mobile bar service. Then we could see how many people search for that keyword every single month. So 1,900 people search for that keyword. ChatGPT was saying 2,400. It's close, but it's not accurate. You can also look at mobile bar. It says 6,600. Mobile bar actually gets 14,800 searches. Way off. ChatGPT is giving you numbers that aren't even close. So this is where with AI, you cannot trust it. It's a good starting point, but it is not something you can rely on because these numbers are so much more different. This is from Google directly, this tool, and this is where I would trust it more. But AI is a good starting point. Just don't rely on it to give you accurate information. I wish it did, but For the time being, it is not accurate at all. As you can see, these numbers are way off, like not even close. 14,000 compared to 6,000. That's missing almost 8,000 searches that you would be potentially getting. So use AI as a starting point, but do not trust it for a lot of stuff. But it's better than nothing. And then it's going to show you like a bunch of keywords. It gives you a bunch of examples of keywords. So it gives you a lot of stuff to look at, but how much of that is actually getting accurate? We could even put the same thing into Gemini. And Gemini is owned by Google. So we could say, give me a list of keywords related to mobile bar business. And it's going to give us similar but different keywords that than ChatGPT did. So you could see like these are actually way different than what ChatGPT was showing. And we could do the same thing. Give me search volume for these keywords in a table. So we could ask it to give us a search volume in a table. And we could see here it says mobile bar service got 18,100 searches. Let's go back to ChatGPT says 2,400 searches. So ChatGPT says 2,400 searches. Gemini says 18,100. But the real tool from Google shows 1,900. Way different numbers. All the numbers are way off, and I don't understand why they're so different because I feel like Google should be giving you more accurate information from Gemini, but AI does not care. They just make stuff up all the time and they'll just tell you this like it's the truth. But be careful with this. Don't rely on AI for everything. A lot of stuff it does make up is really important stuff that should tell you the real numbers, but for some reason it just doesn't care. I see a couple questions coming in. Let me get to the chat. So if you do have questions about any of the slides, throw it in the chat. If you have any specific questions, hold off until the end and we'll do a Q&A. But if you have any questions about these slides, please throw in the chat. And yeah, Paula, yeah, don't rely on, don't trust it. She doesn't trust it and you cannot trust it. Anita says, what's the best practice for putting keywords? Is it better to use underscores between words or leave it blank or use a dash or apostrophe? And all those are going to have different amount of searches. So I want to put an underscore in between words because that's not how people search. People are just going to search mobile bar business, or they might put businesses. That's where if it's appropriate, you could put the apostrophe. And if there needs to be a hyphen in between words, you could add that because all that will change how many people search for it. Not by much, but you want to put them all in to see which ones get the most search volume and go after that as long as it makes sense for that keyword. And David is saying is ChatGPT giving incorrect answers because it's not Google and no, all AI will give you wrong answers. AI is does AI hallucinations and it makes stuff up all the time. So here's an example of me going into ChatGPT, asking it to give me a list of keywords related to SEO classes because I teach SEO classes and I want to rank for that keyword. And it gave me a bunch of other keywords like SEO training gets 15,000 searches, SEO classes gets 10,000 searches a month. So I'm like, all right, SEO training might be a good keyword. I did use a Google keyword planner and SEO classes actually gets 2,500 searches. SEO training gets 5,000 searches. So the numbers are way off, but still, I'm able to now know that maybe SEO training is a good keyword that I might want to target into my website and into my SEO strategy. So writing content is something that AI helps a lot with and is probably one of the most useful parts of AI is help it write content because writing content takes time and AI will help you write content. It'll help you create outlines for content. It'll check existing content on your website for any like spelling or grammar issues. I have 200 blog posts on my website, so I could have AI go in and check for any issues because I've had my website since 2007, so I've had plenty of time to write blogs. And a lot of those blogs might have spelling or grammar issues because it's tough to catch everything, especially when you have hundreds of pieces of content out there. It'll help you write content for your product pages if you're e-commerce. If you're a service-based business, it'll help write content for your service pages. Oops. So it does a lot. And Google even said a couple years ago, we don't care who writes the content anymore. If it's AI or human, doesn't matter to us because it can't tell the difference. There's AI checkers that will check content to see if it's written by AI or humans, and AI checkers will say the Bible is written by AI. So these tools are way off. They don't know how to differentiate human and AI content because AI content has gotten so good in the past few years that you can't really differentiate it. Again, it's not accurate. So Google said you could use AI content, but if it's inaccurate or if it has those AI hallucinations, they're not going to want to rank it. So that's one thing where you have to double, triple, quadruple check the content. If you just take AI content and post it on your website, not good. If you take AI content, edit it, personalize it, tweak it, that's all good from the search engines. As long as it's useful for the reader. That's what they want is helpful content. That's what Google said is we want your content to be helpful and that means it has to be accurate. If it's not accurate, it's not going to be helpful for people because you're just giving misinformation and spreading things that are not true and that's not good. So when you do have AI write the content, I like to not just say, write me a blog post about this topic, but I'd rather have it start with an outline and then personalize that outline, tweak it, then have it write the content, then tweak that content to make sure it's accurate. Because you don't want to put out incorrect information because Google will rank websites, but they also drop you down if you do the wrong thing. We don't want that to happen. We want you to get more traffic. We don't want you to lose traffic. And if you do the wrong things, Google is happy to penalize a website and drop you down in rankings. But if anyone has a keyword that we haven't used, if you want to throw in the chat, I'll show you how we could use AI to help out with writing some content. And I do see a couple questions coming in, so let me just jump to the questions about the keyword research before I jump into the content. So I got a question coming in. What are best practices for a new company? For a beginning company, one high, competitive, one medium. How do you know if AI content won't be used? I guess the question is for keywords, should you go for like high competition, medium competition, or low competition keywords? And that just depends on your business. If you're a brand new business and you're going for high competitive keywords, it's going to take you a while to get there. You want to go for websites that are similar in size to you. So if you're a small business, you want to go for keywords that show for small or medium-sized businesses. If you're a large or established website, then go for these competitive keywords. But if you're a new startup and you're trying to go for these big keywords, it's going to take you a lot longer to rank for them. So less competition means you're going to rank faster. More competition means it's going to take more time. See another question, how do you know if AI content won't be used for other websites? And you don't know that. So the weird thing is, if we all have AI write us content, it's all going to be 100% unique. Google said they want unique content. It has. So if I take an article and publish it on my website, and then everyone else copies it and publishes it on their own website, I'm going to rank. Everyone else is probably going to get a penalty for that. So original content is really important. AI will always create original content, which I don't understand how that happens. It's probably because it makes stuff up a lot of times and just throws misinformation in there, but it's all original. Swan was asking, is it true that AI generated content contains hidden codes and embedded within it? And I believe so, but Google has said we don't care who writes the content. It could be written by AI. They don't care. It just has to be accurate. So if there's a hidden codes or anything in there, you could try to strip it out somehow. But Google said we don't care who writes it. It just has to be helpful for the reader. That's the most important thing. So I see a bunch of keywords coming in. See David put EV chargers. So we could say like, give me blog post topics about, and then we'll put the word EV chargers. So instead of just saying, write me a blog post about EV chargers, let's get some topics that we could choose. What do you want to write about? Because if you just say, write me a blog post about EV chargers, it's going to be really generic and trying to be very similar to what everyone else is putting in there. If everyone is using AI, you got to figure out how to differentiate yourself because now everyone's going to be doing the same thing as you. What's going to make you stand out and get you more trust and more visibility? So here are a bunch of different topics that AI is recommending. And if you find a good topic, then I would have it write content about it, but I wouldn't just have it write the content. I want to try to make it as personalized as possible. So if this is a good topic, like should businesses install EV chargers, we could say, write me a blog post about this topic. So now it will write the blog post for you, which that is one of the nicest things about AI is writing content because writing content takes time. And this is where the paid version is going to be much better than the free version. And in the past, when I have writers write content, they charge me $50 for one page of one blog post. ChatGPT will write you infinite pieces of content for $20 a month. You can't really beat that price. So this content is, let's see, it's really long, very detailed, a lot of information in here, but also a lot of misinformation. And that's where if you just copy and paste this onto your blog, it's probably going to do more harm than good. You still have to go in and edit it, tweak it. You can't solely rely on AI, at least not yet. Maybe in the future it will stop AI hallucinations, but for the time being, it does it all the time. But this is a good starting point. I could also take like one of my old blogs. So we could go to like one of my blogs. I'll open up my blog now and we could take one of my old blogs, or let's take one of my new ones actually, and let's ask it to spell check it. So I wrote a blog post about how to do podcast SEO recently. So let's take this URL and put it in here and say, can you check this for any spelling or grammar issues? So let's see what happens when I give it my URL. Sometimes it doesn't read the URLs and you have to actually put the content in there, but this time it is actually reading it all. So I reviewed your article. Overall, the article is good. There are no major grammar or spelling issues, but I did find a few small spelling issues. So we can see what they're recommending in several places. You switch between Google, search engines, capitalized, lowercase. So saying that I should keep search engines lowercase. Few issues with hyphens, parallel grammar in lists. So it's getting a little deep into the grammar side of things, adding an apostrophe. So it's giving little things that I could do, run-on sentences. So it's telling me how I could improve this and make it more readable for people and improve on the grammar and spelling. It's saying overall it's 9.5 out of 10, but still, if I could make it a 10 out of 10, let's make it a 10 out of 10 and follow these guides, follow these recommendations to improve on this content. So then I could go back in here and tweak this and fix any of those issues with spelling or grammar and just make this a better blog post for the end user because that's ultimately what they want is a good user experience. So you can see how powerful AI is with writing content. creating content. It's very efficient at it. Still needs you to manually check it to just make sure you're not copy and pasting incorrect information onto your website because people are going to read that and we don't want to confuse people. It can help out with competitor analysis. So it could actually find your competitors from a website. So I could give it my website and say, give me a list of my competitors. Or I could say, here's one of my competitors, give me a list of their competitors. It could also find keywords that your competitors rank for. It'll take all that and put it into tables like we did earlier to look at search volume and competitive metrics. We could also split your competitors into small, medium, or large size competitors because if you're a startup, you want to go after small competitors. If you're a medium-sized business, you want to go after medium-sized competitors. If you're a startup, you don't want to be going for large competitors because it's going to just take too much time and it's going to be a lot of waiting, and we don't want to wait. SEO is not immediate. That's the one downside with SEO is if you want immediate results, you have to run paid ads. SEO takes time to build trust, and that's where if you're trying to go for these big keywords that are very competitive, it's feasible. It's just going to take more time, and we don't want to be waiting. It takes 6 months for search engines to really trust a website, but it depends on those keywords. If these keywords are very competitive, it could take a year or more. If there's low competition, it could take a couple months. So it's all interchangeable. It just depends on the competitiveness. But again, let me show you this versus just telling you these things. It's a lot easier to visualize it. So here is my website. I could put this into ChatGPT and say, give me a list of competitors related to, and I'll put my website in there and let's see what it says. So it says here are some of my competitors like Smart Sites, Ignite Visibility, Search Bloom, WebFX. It's giving me local competitors. It's giving me a lot of competitors. It's great. And then I get to even say like, what keywords do these websites all rank for? So now I could see what keywords these competitors are ranking targeting. And then I could see like, should I be adding keywords? Am I missing anything that I should be targeting or ranking for? So it's pulling it up and it's saying like SEO company, SEO agency, SEO services. I mean, all pretty straightforward keywords that I would already be targeting, but you never know. They might have some new ones down here, lower down. Then you could also do what we did earlier and say, give me search volume for these keywords. Again, we can't fully trust this, but it is better than nothing. So it's going to show us how many people search for that keyword every single month, these numbers. But again, if you remember earlier, these numbers are far from accurate, but it's a good starting point to help you kind of just gauge and see what's out there. So for competitor analysis, normally I look at Google, search for my competitors, analyze their website, look at their on-page SEO, their keywords, look at their backlinks, and try to benchmark myself against the competition to see what are the competitors doing that I'm not doing, and how can I get myself to that level that I want to be at by analyzing my competitors and trying to do better than they are. Can help you with content, or I mean with coding, so it can help optimize your website. Because once we have a list of keywords, what do you do with those keywords? We have to put those into your website, into your coding, and it will actually code for you. It'll build websites, it could build apps, it could do a lot. One important thing is content for your website. So if we want to create SEO friendly content, it could help write code like title tags, meta descriptions, schema code. It could create FAQ style content, and it can do a lot with the content creation side of things. I already showed you how it could create SEO friendly content, but you could have it write like titles and meta descriptions or schema, and all you have to do is ask it to do it, and it will do it. Again, it's not going to be perfect. Might need you to double check it, but it is not a bad starting point. I see a couple questions coming in, like can AI produce codes for subject matter expert troubleshooting of control edge PLC? I'm not sure what control edge PLC is. Maybe if you want to elaborate on that, I could. Joanna was asking how to organize your SEO. What's a good structure? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by structure. Maybe if you want to elaborate that as well, and then I could try to answer that later about how to structure your SEO, meaning like your website or your backlinks or keywords, or if you just want to maybe elaborate on those two questions. But AI can help you write a lot of coding. It's kind of very, very powerful. So Schema is a coding language that Google, Bing, and Yahoo created back in, I think like 2013, 15 maybe. And this enhances how your website looks. So Schema is a coding language that you could add to each page on your website. And in the past, I would have to code this. AI will code it for you. AI will code the on-page SEO like title tags, which are the blue clickable links that show up when you search on Google. That's called a title tag. The black text underneath that is called a meta description. And it'll create this for you. It's not going to be perfect, but it is better than nothing. So we could go into ChatGPT and I could say, like, for this page, like, what is a good title tag for this page? Then it'll tell me a good title tag, best title tag, recommendations, alternatives. And these are good starting points to potentially use for your SEO title tags or meta descriptions or whatever coding areas you want to start getting into with the AI. And then I see a couple questions. Controller is used to program and run industrial automation process. I'm not sure what that question is. Maybe if you want to elaborate. I don't really know what a industrial automation process is, but it can code and it can code lots of stuff. And it could code websites and apps. I'm not sure if that's what you're asking, if it can code an app, but it can do it. It's not going to be perfect, but it can do a lot of coding. Paula was asking what's a good website to use for that's SEO friendly, and all the platforms are pretty SEO friendly. It doesn't matter what platform you use, WordPress or Wix or Shopify or Squarespace. It just matters how you use that tool, that platform. Because you could have WordPress is the best. Half the internet is built on WordPress and it's free to use, but it just depends on how you use WordPress. You could have WordPress and still not rank. Like a lot of people come to me on WordPress and they don't rank for anything because they're not properly using that platform. So having an SEO friendly platform is important, but how you use that platform is really what matters. But there are some ethical considerations to be aware of with AI is to use it as a reference because it can be a little biased at times and it might not tell you what you really need to know and it could just make things up. And there's a lot of abuse and misuse where there's people that just go into ChatGPT and say, write me 100 blog posts for my website, and it'll create 100 blog posts. They'll post it on their website. They're going to get more traffic, but eventually search engines are going to catch on, see that it's AI content, see that it's not edited, that it's not tweaked, it's not beneficial for the reader, and eventually that traffic starts dropping. So quality over quantity with everything. Good quality content is much better. One good quality article or blog post is much better than 20 mediocre or low quality blog posts. So don't just try to use it for creating everything because it can do that, but it gets a little out of hand and quality over quantity is always going to be much better for the user and for search engines. It is going to cause a lot of job displacement, unfortunately. As you can see, it could code for you It can write content. So a lot of article writers or writers are going to lose their job, but then it's just going to transition into being editors or something new. So it is going to change a lot, and it's probably going to be one of the biggest job disruptors that we've ever seen. But it's also going to create a lot of new opportunities, and that's where we just got to get creative and figure out how to use this as a new opportunity. And really just try to focus on providing value with everything. Value is going to be the most important, is making sure is this helpful for the reader? Or is this just throwing something up there just to try to game the system? And search engines have been around for decades and they've seen a lot of the tricks and they are very keen on it. If you're trying to game the system, it might work short-lived temporarily, but in the long run, it's going to do more harm than good. And we don't want to jeopardize your website because getting out of a penalty is extremely difficult. Search engines are happy to penalize you because once you drop down in rankings, what are you going to do? Spend money on ads. That's how all the search engines make money is off of ads. They are happy to drop you down because they know you're going to start spending more money, and that's really all they care about, unfortunately. And I did make a list of some ChatGPT prompts that are much better. So I showed you some ChatGPT prompts, but the ones I showed you are very, 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 very basic. And if you want to stand out and differentiate yourself, you need to write prompts that are unique. Like when I use AI and have prompts, my prompts are like a page long. The more you put into these prompts, the more unique and better and more accurate the answer is going to be. So if you scan this QR code or go to my website, seooptimizers.com/AI, you can get access to these ChatGPT prompts that are going to be much better, but still, you still need to personalize them. Even the ones I'm sharing with you, you still need to personalize it and give it as much information as possible. The more information you give to the LLMs, the better the results are going to be. The less information you give to it, the worse off the results are going to be. And we want to make you succeed. We don't want to just make you the same as everyone else because everyone else is doing the prompts I showed you earlier. You need to stand out and differentiate yourself. And that's where you have to really personalize and get deep with these prompts. Don't just say, write me a blog post. Say, I'm a business owner in Los Angeles. Well, depending on what you are. Like for me, if I'm having to write a blog post, I'd say I live in Los Angeles. I want to target locally. Businesses are looking for help with SEO. Write me some content that's going to help find some needs or problems that they have and show how I could help solve that problem with my services to help them get more traffic, make it SEO friendly. Don't make it Make sure that it's not detectable by AI checkers. Make sure it's written in English for middle school reading level, so it's not too technical. That's going to confuse people. Like, get very deep with it. The more you put into this, the better the results are going to be for you and for the reader and for the end user. And that's going to then get you more visibility in the search engines, which is what we all want. So I'll put in the chat too a link to this. So if you want to just copy, we'll click on that in the chat. I know I did miss a bunch of questions. If I did miss anyone's questions, please throw in the chat and we'll do some Q&A right now. That way I can make sure I didn't miss anyone's questions. And I see a question, can it generate code that runs programs that control factory, oil, and gas? Probably. The only way to find out is use AI and see if it can do it. Because I've never programmed gas factories or oil, so I'm not sure. But I have had it create tools for me and program stuff. So it can program, but I'm not sure the extent is on every industry because I just haven't done it. But the best way to do it is just get your hands dirty and jump into AI and see what it can do for you. But again, double check it because that code might be just full of incorrect stuff. And if you're dealing with factories and oil and gas and you put some wrong code in and it like messes stuff up, that could actually be really bad. So gotta be careful with some of this stuff. We don't want to just cause a bunch of issues with gas companies and put out oil that's not properly refined or mislabel oil as diesel when it's not diesel or premium or vice versa. Let's see, I've tried coding and it creates some code with defects in it. So check. Yep, no, AI is always going to put out incorrect information. It's a good starting point. So I had it create a tool for me, and it took me like 8 hours of me just going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And it got it right eventually, but it's still not perfect. And it's still not perfect even now. I still have to have a programmer still edit it, but it did take care of a lot of the work, a lot of the like legwork. But now it's just tweaking it, making sure it looks good visually and all that stuff. But I'm not sure if I missed any other questions. I will also put my email in the chat, so you can always email me. It's Brandon at SEO Optimizer. So if you do have questions in the future about any of this stuff, you can always email me, and I'm happy to help out, try to give you some feedback on all this stuff. So I appreciate everyone for coming out. Seems like there might not be any other questions. So appreciate you all coming out today, learning about SEO, AI. We'll do some other classes in the future with the WBDC, and hopefully I'll see you at those future classes.
Thank you, Brandon, for sharing this invaluable information. Um, Today's sessions is very informative. I assume everybody loves it. I loved it, and I truly appreciate you sharing it. Your knowledge and insight is just out of this world. If you liked it, please come join us again. Our next session is going to be on June 6th, same time, 12 to 1, and the topic is going to be increase your website sales and leads using SEO. Thank you so much. To answer your questions, the recording will be shared, and it will be shared as soon as when it's available. So check our library. I think it's an e-library for our website. I'm looking forward to see you all. Enjoy your productive day. And if you need to reach out to me for any counseling sessions, welcome to do so. Let me put my email on the chat, sdo@pacela.org. Reach out to me and we'll do that. Thank you so much for joining, everybody, and I hope you have a productive day. Thank you, Brendan, again for those great insight information.
Thanks for having me.